As the release date of Black Myth Wukong draws nearer, there has been some commotion in the gaming community, especially due to issues involving IGN and Sweet Baby. I believe there will be more attempts to stir things up before and after Black Myth Wukong's release. For some reason, there seems to be a group of people who don't want to see the game's success. However, from the trailers and demos available so far, Black Myth Wukong appears to be an outstanding work in terms of its setting, characters, music, technology, cultural essence, and more. Even so, I'm still on the fence about making any final judgments until it's finally out. I'm really afraid of being blindly optimistic, only to be disappointed in the end. Nevertheless, I purchased the deluxe digital edition as soon as pre-order were available, because as long as it maintains the quality of the first video, I believe it will be worth it. Last year, after the annual Black Myth Wukong trailer, IGN published an article accusing the game's developers of being misogynistic, claiming that they didn't need female players. As a Chinese female gamer who pre-ordered the deluxe digital edition and works in the gaming industry, I wanted to talk about what really happened. What exactly did the developers say? Are they truly misogynistic? Hello, 大家 welcome to my channel. I'm Chili, a self-English learner from China. As my second language, I can't use it properly sometimes. If I make any mistakes, sorry in advance and please correct me. I really appreciate your help. So let's back to Black Myth Wukong. Some people say they're an unknown small company with no previous work, but that's not true. The lead developers entered the gaming industry around 2008, and in 2013, they developed a game called 斗战神 at the internet giant Tencent, which was also related to the Journey to the West story. At that time, it caused quite a stir in the industry, and the game's CGI trailer were still impressive, even by today's standards. I first heard about them then because my classmates often mentioned them, but back then I had no interest in them or the game. Not because of them specifically, but because I didn't think much of the Chinese gaming industry as a whole. Sorry for that. But at that time, the Chinese gaming market was flooded with low-quality, reskinned online games, with no real works that could be considered proper games. I was playing games like The Last of Us, Portal 2, Uncharted, Silent Hill, and Assassin's Creed. Games that were strong in story, technology, art, music, and gameplay. Back then, the Western gaming industry hasn't yet been influenced by DEI policies, and everything was still normal. You know what I'm talking about, Ubisoft. I really don't want to make this comparison, but unfortunately, there really weren't any notable game works in China at that time. Almost everything was pay-to-win or reskinned online games with no consideration for gameplay or artistic value, and the technology simply couldn't compare. As a female gamer, I really dislike this development environment. Not the work environment, but the creative environment. Most games were created from a male perspective, with sex women and ugly monsters. So my first reaction was that 斗战神 was just another game like that, and that development team was just a reflection of the Chinese game development industry. However, I didn't think this was a problem because the female gamer community wasn't very large at the time. Both female developers and gamers were relatively few, with a male-to-female ratio of about 7:3. Even among the excellent games I mentioned earlier, there weren't many female players. I remember that female gamers only started to gain attention around 2015, with Japanese games like Token Number and ensemble stars. This game featured beautiful and handsome male characters, combined with the popular fujoshin culture, which is the hobby of imagining male characters in romantic relationships with each other, though the fans themselves are not necessarily lesbian or gay. Since then, domestic developers started to notice the consumption potential of female gamers. And as more women entered the industry, developers began to intentionally or unintentionally include more elements that women liked, such as good-looking men or cute little girls. This led to some games having up to 16% female players. The funny thing is that some developers even use this statistic as a marketing tool to attract male players, like, come to our game to meet real girls. Imagine if World of Warcraft introduced a new race that looked like Legolas and wore thick clothes, attracting many female players, and the male-to-female ratio shifted from 7:3 to 4:5. Then Blizzard would run an ad saying, "We have the largest number of female players. Come and pick your real wife." It's unbelievable. I came to play the game, but I ended up being treated as a game asset. This happened to Chinese game industry and community. That article accused of saying we don't need female players was written in this context. The developers weren't saying they didn't need female players, but that they didn't need to do things to pander to women and then treat them as a resource to attract men who wanted to date. Of course, I'm not defending them. I don't think they are misogynistic. This article clearly reflects the male perspective creative environment I mentioned, where crudeness is seen as a humor and offensiveness is considered art. Although being interpreted as a self-mockery, although the intention was to express a desire not to cater to anyone, male or female or other groups, the way it was said made people uncomfortable, leading to a series of misunderstandings. I'm not someone who engages in gender conflicts. While I don't like this behavior, I don't think it's a big deal that needs to limit their creativity and expression. I just hope they can be more cautious with their words. Fortunately, their fame was still limited to a small circle in China at that time, so it didn't cause much of fuss. Later, due to creative differences with Tencent, they left and founded their own game company, Game Science. Before working on Black Myth Wukong, they made 2 mobile games to survive, which I don't know much about, but during this period, they made some rather vulgar recruitment posters that reflected their usual style and received a lot of criticism. I'm sure you have encountered people like this, those who think dirty jokes or swearing are funny. Personally, I don't mind much. I think everyone occasionally swears to release stress, and I do too. But I would never bring such behavior to work or formal occasions, nor would I include it in videos. That's a sense of boundaries and respect for others. Otherwise, like them now, while gaining high attention, their low-quality behavior also gets magnified, even causing people to accuse them of being sexist. This could affect the reputation of their work, which is a pity. Then came to the Black Myth Wukong period. On August 20, 2020, to recruit talent, they released a game demonstration video that shocked the entire China game industry. This small team suddenly gained overwhelming attention, and the creator Feng Jie posted the famous Weibo that IGN criticized as sexist. Particularly the first sentence, 想扩圈多招几个，被舔到勃起不能, was translated by IGN as I wanted to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection. My English isn't very good, so I don't know how native English speakers perceive this. But in Chinese, what he actually meant was, I just wanted to recruit a few people, but received more prize than expected, which made me feel uneasy. However, I wanted to clarify that just because I understand what he was trying to say doesn't mean I approve of his way of saying it. Again, you can call him rude and crude, but there's no need to label him as sexist. The backlash against them on the Chinese internet actually started at this point of the first video came out and wasn't anything new. Their inappropriate remarks from before were dug up and widely separated at this time. This spread reached beyond the gaming community, and every year since, whenever they release a new video, it sparks another wave of criticism, with people arguing fearlessly over it. IGN's report last year was late to the game, and it even escalated to a national level, which is rather bizarre. I think this kind of controversy will only increase after Blasphemous Wukong release. If there are any flaws in the game's quality, the criticism will likely be even more intense. Even though I'm aware of all this, I've never cared much, nor have I been interested in joining these battles. My only concern is the final quality of the game, because this is more than just a game. It carries the hopes of Chinese game developers, especially those pursue high-quality games. We have had enough of risk-ant, gacha, pay-to-win, low-quality games. China has become the world's largest gaming market thanks to these games, and capital is more inclined to invest in what they see as profitable. Even large companies with ample resources have never dared to do something like this. I have stolen cars in GTA 5, climbed the Florence Cathedral in Assassin's Creed. I was also the king of the Elden Ring, but now finally I get to be the Monkey King. I really can't describe this feeling. I truly hope that Wukong can succeed. So maybe we can see more high quality, technically advanced, and artistically refined domestic works. So I sincerely hope that regardless of the controversies surrounding its development team, Black Myth Wukong doesn't disappoint us in terms of final quality, as that is what I truly care about. So that's all for today's video. Please feel free to leave some comments and tell me your thoughts about this. And if I made any mistakes that confused you, please correct me. And I'm sorry if I said anything wrong. Anything you want me to talk, please leave a comment and help me to improve this channel too. I really appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and peace. 再见，拜拜。